Craig Gallagher finding time in Sector 2. Green Sector 1 for Carl Schuhol. Issues for Carl Strohol on the replay now. Back live, Paul Ibbotson sitting P5. Paul Ibbotson in trouble. Here's the replay. We rejoin the race, Tommy Teasdale running P1. Fastest lap, Tommy Teasdale, 1:29.3. Purple Sector 1 for Tommy Teasdale. Trouble for Gilliland. Watch the incident. We're back live, Carl Struhol now P3. Sector 1 improvement for Gilles Lalonde. A new session best through Sector 1 for Oliver Day. Tommy Teasdale and the number 5 McLaren MP4 13 quickest at 1:29.3. Oliver Day and Carl Struhl round out the top 3. The warm-up begins, 120 minutes available. Practice is in the books.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the first round of a new series I created for us to enjoy some hypersonic cruise missiles, I guess. Is everybody on Discord? Did you join us on the voice or?
Yep, I'm here now.
Okay, cool deal. Being the first round, and if you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and read this race brief real quick. All right, fellas. And then we'll reset this 10-minute warm up and let y'all get some laps in while I'm trying to reset the grid. But so thanks for coming to our the first round of this McLaren Heritage Trophy that I created. The race duration will be 45 minutes. Everybody knows how the allowed global driving aids are clutch lift and blip only, blah, blah, blah. No, we're using the best times off the RF2LA to set the grid. Fuel is 2X, so if you didn't practice a pit stop, you may want to during the warm up because hopefully you've calculated your fuel. I know I'm doing at least, I'm doing one pit stop for sure. I don't think you can make it without a pit stop. And then we're going to do a formation lap to a standing start, just like Formula One does. That's going to be the interesting part. During warm up, you might want to practice a start or two. Hopefully we can get off the line without spinning, and I say me, and you guys. The standing start hopefully it won't destroy the race before it starts, so we can get off to and get a good 45-minute race in. Orange zone is from the start finish to the exit of turn 4. I think everybody here knows how that works. Penalties or incidents are reviewed a little heavier, and if something happens in that and you get an IRR filed against you for whatever during that orange zone. So anyway, in track limits, everyone knows minimum one wheel on the racing surface, plus the RF2 cut rules that come into play. Repeated violations of track limits are eligible for IRR, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. The pit entry and exit, treat the solid entry and exit lines as solid walls. Do not cross when cars are entering or exiting the pit lane. If and when you pit, on pit entry, set up to ensure you are well right coming out of turn 13 and enter at the beginning of the entry lane. Use the fast lane to travel through the pit area, not the pit boxes. On pit exit, stay right and carefully rejoin the racing surface at the end of the marked pit lane. That's going to take some cooperation between the guy coming out and if the guy's on a hot lap and y'all are merging at turn 1. So just be careful of that, because drivers on a racing lap are reminded to provide at least a car width racing room on the right for traffic rejoining. Pit lane speed limit's 197 miles an hour. If you can get a penalty, you get a bonus point. For the blue flags, as per the GCR, drivers do not have to get out of the way, but do not compete with or obstruct the lapping car. The lapping car has the responsibility to make a clean pass. Both have the responsibility for good racing behavior to respect each other's races. The golden rule: if you gain advantage through contact, track cut, or any irregular, you know what I'm saying, sorry. Get back to time or positions. In the case of an incident, please apply the golden rule and return the position lost to the driver you hit. IRR, if your race was affected and you feel it needs reviewed, there's always the procedure that's on the Discord link to how to file an IRR. Usually in the MNRL, we don't have any because we're pretty much laid back and try to race clean and have fun. Outstanding penalties, we don't have any of those. That's about it. If there's any quality, I may make sense. Okay, when the warm up is over and we're going into the race, this is something I need to change, but I haven't been able to yet. We only have like 20 or 30 seconds to get to the grid before the formation lap starts. So when the warm up's over, it rolls into race. It's going to be time to get to the grid and then begin our formation lap to where we'll follow around. And of course, once everyone's in their spot, RF2 will do its countdown. We'll get the green and we'll try not to spin out and hit each other and get a race underway. Is there any other questions? Or any question?
Pretty good, Carl.
Okay.
Rock and
Well,
roll.
I appreciate you guys coming out and giving this thing a try and driving something a little more difficult than maybe MNRL is used to. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to restart the warm up. I'm going to go try to set this grid. And if I can't get it done in 10 minutes, we'll reset it again. But y'all are welcome to practice starts, pit stops, whatever. But I am going to hit restart warm up right now. Tommy, did you go a little bit faster than last night? You did, didn't you? A tenth?
By a tenth.
Yeah, and Sean let me know he wasn't feeling well and he wasn't going to make it tonight.
Warm-up complete. The race is next. The warm-up begins. 10 minutes available.
Jump on, Paul.
Well, y'all made it easy on me. That the way we were lined up in practice is the way we line up on the grid. So feel free to keep practicing. We'll run this thing out till the end of the 10 minutes, and then we'll, like I say, we'll quickly go to the grid and do a formation lap and get this race underway. And I think when I come back, I'm going to practice the start. Had anybody discovered, can you run through, if you cut through somebody's pit hoses, that doesn't stop your car or nothing, does it? I think I've done through the pits and found that the hose is just for looks.
I
don't know.
have all pit details deactivated, so I don't see any of that.
Oh, the hose is hanging down. Well, like I say, I don't think they don't affect your car, but I might figure it out when I come back.
You want offline, you hit the hoses, it's not a problem. I don't know how it's in game though.
Issues for Gilles Lalonde on the replay now. Daryl Kruger has problems. Backlive Daryl Kruger sitting P2.
I just ran through them all. There's no problem.
Paul Ibbotson in trouble. Let's see what happened. We rejoin the race, Gilles Lalonde running P1. Issues for Daryl Kruger. Here's the replay. Back to the action, and Oliver Day's up to P1.
These cars do not have boost or push to power, do they?
Nope.
No,
Okay, thanks.
you might hear that beeping. That's just part of the track. That ain't part of the saying that you got it for the car.
Yeah, I just didn't test it. You can adjust your fuel mixture though.
Yeah, you can adjust the max RPM and the fuel mixture. Yeah, and when you come into the pits, you ain't got to worry about those hoses hanging down. If you have pit details on, they're there, but you can run through them and it won't do nothing.
"15-second warning."
Yeah, it'll take just a little bit before it rolls into the race start. But yeah, we're coming up on the time session's ending now, so.
That's the end of the warm-up.
Yeah, we got 37 seconds, so make sure you got your race set up and ready to launch this dude.
Yeah, 30 seconds is too short. You can't run to the fridge, change your beverage.
Yeah, I need to do something to the JSON multiplayer. It's something I'm kind of, I hate messing with it because things have happened when I do
Well,
that.
you make backups.
And here we have the grid for today's race. 7 cars on the grid. Leading the field, McLaren MP4. Tommy Teasdale leads McLaren MP430. In the number 5, McLaren MP430. Oliver Day, BirdLife International P2. P3, Carl Struwell in the number 19 McLaren MP413. At P4, Jill Lalonde in the number 13 McLaren MP413. Paul Ibbotson in the number 20 McLaren MP413 P5. Darrell Kruger, number 22 McLaren MP413 P6. At P7, Craig Gallagher in the number 5 McLaren MP413.
right. Once again, thanks everybody for coming out and having us a grid so that we can have some fun and enjoy the racing and try to get to the finish.
Lights out and away we go. The Albert Park 2019 Grand Prix race is underway. 44 minutes, 7 cars on track. Great progress from Oliver Day. Now P2 in McLaren MP4 13. Carl Struhol on the moving McLaren MP4 13 up to P3. Gilles Lalonde climbs 1 position in the McLaren MP4 13 class. Great progress from Daryl Kruger. Now P4 in McLaren MP4 13. Carl Struhl makes the pass. Now P6. Carl Struhl gets it done. On board with Carl Struhl, chasing Craig Gallagher for 5th. And Carl Struhl completes the pass. Craig Gallagher takes P5. Paul Ibbotson up 1 place to P6 in McLaren MP4 13. Tommy Teasdale sets the benchmark in Sector 3. Gilles Lalonde maintaining P3. Carl Struhl has problems. Carl Struhl running in P5. Here's Carl Struhl's pass on Craig Gallagher. Back live, Paul Ibbotson sitting P6. On board with Paul Ibbotson, chasing Carl Struhl for 5th. Carl Struhl struggling, now P6 from a P3 start. Tommy Teasdale in the lead, 2 laps in. Tommy Teasdale has the advantage at the first sector. Daryl Kruger finding time in Sector 1. Personal best in Sector 1 for Paul Ibbotson. Trouble for Paul Ibbotson on the replay now. We rejoin the race, Oliver Day running P2. That's where Tommy Teasdale is strong, the first sector. Oliver Day consistently faster through the first sector. Darrell Kruger still on the lead lap. That's Carl Struhl's best sector 2 of the session. Paul Ibbotson continues to improve through sector 2. A new personal best sector 1 there for Craig Gallagher. Oliver Day cruising in P2. Oliver Day extending the lead. Gap now 5.9 seconds for Carl Struhl. Personal best in sector 3 for Craig Gallagher. Remarkably consistent from Tommy Teasdale. Tommy Teasdale has been quicker, pulling away. Losing a bit of pace now, Gilles Lalonde. The times are coming down for Darrell Kruger. Carl Struhl is getting into a rhythm now. I see ya. Craig Gallagher is struggling to maintain the pace. Quicker laps now from Oliver Day. The first sector is where Gilles Lalonde pulls away. Gilles Lalonde is pulling away, gap up by 11.1 seconds. Pass complete. Karl Struhel into P4. Let's see Karl Struhel's overtake on Daryl Kruger one more time. Back to the action, and Paul Ibbetson's up to P6. It's been a difficult day for Karl Struhel, down from P3 to P6. Craig Gallagher running behind the lead by 1. And Paul Ibbetson takes P4. Paul Ibbetson gets it done. Here's that pass by Paul Ibbetson on Daryl Kruger. Back-live Tommy Teasdale sits in P1. Karl Struhel is quicker through the first sector. Green sector 3 for Oliver Day. Craig Gallagher is losing touch with Karl Struhel. Gilles Lalonde has the edge on entry to the first sector. Paul Ibbetson finding time in sector 3. Paul Ibbetson extending the lead. That's the quickest sector 2 we've seen, Tommy Teasdale. Gilles Lalonde is faster in, but Paul Ibbetson gets the better exit from the first and final sectors. Issues for Paul Ibbotson. Let's see what happened. We rejoin the race. Tommy Teasdale running P1. Tommy Teasdale rejoins from the pits. Paul Ibbotson is building a cushion. A new personal best sector 2 there for Darrell Kruger. Karl Struhol in trouble. Here's the replay. Back to the action, and Tommy Teasdale's up to P1. The gap is coming down for Paul Ibbotson. And Paul Ibbotson completes the pass. Another look at Paul Ibbotson passing Karl Struhol. We're back live. Oliver Day now P2. Paul Ibbotson's pace is fading. Tommy Teasdale with the entry, Oliver Day with the exit at the first and final sectors. Watch the incident. Back live, Tommy Teasdale sitting P1. Carl Struhel and Paul Ibbotson trading advantages through the first and final sectors. Tommy Teasdale has built a 4-second cushion over second place. Tommy Teasdale still in control up front. Craig Gallagher on the move in McLaren MP4 13 up to P6. Carl Struhel consistently faster through the first sector. The first sector is where Paul Ibbotson pulls away. Meanwhile, Gilles Lalonde pitting from P3. Pit stop complete for Gilles Lalonde. Darrell Kruger continues to improve through Sector 3. Carl Struhel back out on track. Oliver Day has ducked into the pits from P2. Karlsruhe is faster in, but Craig Gallagher gets the better exit from the first and final sectors. On the replay now. Back to the action, and Oliver Day's up to P2. Daryl Kruger started P6, now running P3. Impressive progress. Gilles Lalonde through on Daryl Kruger. Gilles Lalonde takes P3. Here's Gilles Lalonde's pass on Daryl Kruger. Rejoin the race, Tommy Teasdale running P1. While we were elsewhere, Craig Gallagher stopped on track on lap 13. Back Laverde sitting P2. Gilles Lalonde brakes later. Daryl Kruger exits faster at the first and final sectors. Daryl Kruger with the entry Carl Struhel with the exit of the first and final sectors. Big moment, Tommy Teasdale pits from the lead. Carl Struhel refusing to let this one go. Different approaches at the first and final sectors. Oliver Day carries more speed, Gilles Lalonde accelerates harder. Personal best in Sector 1 for Oliver Day. Gilles Lalonde goes green in Sector 3. Craig Gallagher heading into pit lane. Carl Struhel continues to improve through Sector 3. Craig Gallagher rejoins from the pits. Trouble for Craig Gallagher. Here's the replay. We're back live. Carl Struhel, now P5. Gilles Lalonde sets a personal best through Sector 2. Carl Struhel hanging tough in this battle. Let's see what happened. We rejoin the race. Carl Struhel running P5. Personal best in Sector 2 for Oliver Day. Carl Struhel's problems. Watch the incident. Back live, Tommy Teasdale sitting P1. Let's look back at when Craig Gallagher came to a halt on lap 19. We're back live, Oliver Day now P2. Pit stop complete for Carl Struhel. Five minutes left in the session. Craig Gallagher had a significant problem on lap 19. Here's what we missed. We rejoined the race, Tommy Teasdale running P1. Two minutes to go. One minute remaining. Here's something interesting we missed. Issues for Daryl Kruger. Back to the action, and Tommy Teasdale's up to P1. While we were elsewhere, Daryl Kruger stopped on track on lap 26. We're back live, Oliver Day now P2. winner is Tommy Teasdale. Second place goes to Oliver Day. Jules Alonda rounds out the podium. P4, Daryl Kruger. Carl Struhol, home P5. On to the rest of the finishers, P6, Craig Gallagher. Filling out the order, P7 for Paul Ibbotson.
Well, thanks for racing, guys. That was fun. Daryl, that was pretty damn entertaining for a while it lasted.
For you, it lasted up to the first corner.
Oh, that was terrible. I'm talking about later on, me and him were nose to tail there for a while, and then I gassed it a little too much.
Third place.
But it was fun.
What
Yeah,
happened?
I was wondering whether he'd pit or not because I think I had to pit.
Yeah, I pit halfway through.
Yeah, it took 220
15
liters for me.
Yeah.
220. So the car can only handle 100. So at 135. So it's you have to cut it in half.
Well, Gilles, you did your typical. You kept getting better and better. Look at that 33.7. That's nice, man.
Yeah, but that's because a few laps before I was almost sleeping at the wheel because I had 24 seconds in front of Daryl. So I was like making mistake for what no reason. So let's get back on it. But at a certain point, I did the stupid thing. Tommy passed me and said, I'm gonna try to stay with him.
Yeah, it's always a good idea.
Yeah. So the long back straight, then there's the fast chicane. Coming out the fast chicane, I went way too far on the rumble strip and I spun. Didn't touch anything, but I flat spotted the tires. It was rumbling all the way to the end.
I was wondering if I was going to get a chance, but Teasdale was when he passed me. I didn't know what he's doing, and I spun.
Yeah, that's how
And I was coming so fast behind everyone, so I was scared in a way, and I did, I think, a few bad dive bombs as a result.
Okay, these cars are even easier to drive than the 2018 IndyCar. It's like it's night and day compared to the 85s.
Well, I'm glad everybody came out and enjoyed it. Sorry, Paul didn't stick around. I know he
crashed. He didn't practice enough, I think. But